Hi, my name is Maggie. Welcome to my channel Semper Astra. In today's video, I wanted to share with you my experience of my first week of training with my new guide dog Wilma. At the beginning, I just wanted to make it very clear that I am not a guide dog trainer and I am only a student who is learning to work with her new guide dog. So I received Wilma on April 25th and today we have a 4th of May. And in my previous video, I already summarized first 3 days of training. So today I will focus on the week starting from this Monday. So first of all, I wanted to share clearly some subjective observation. So after a week of living with Wilma, I can already say that she's a very gentle, loving, funny, and kind of sunny personality dog. She never destroys her toys. She can play with her toys nicely and she appreciates them. She loves interaction. She loves staying close by. I am totally blind, so I'm not sure of that frame. I was trying to put in a frame myself and the dog, and which was really difficult, so forgive me if it's not perfect. And I already start liking her, which is amazing. And yeah, because to be honest, I am a little bit scared of dogs that I don't know well, if that makes sense. So I really am getting fond of Wilma. And I also want to say that I feel far more relaxed around her, because at the beginning of last week I was very anxious. I wasn't sure whether she's comfortable, whether she needs anything, whether I should be doing anything else to make her comfortable. And I was always on tender hooks, watching her behavior and trying to guess what she needs, which was very tiring, I have to say, and which was very distractive around my paid work, which I am doing at the beginning of the day and at the very end of the day. So the next thing I wanted to share with you is my kind of typical schedule for the day. So I wake about 6:30, 7 a.m. I take Wilma out. I get myself ready, I get the dog ready, I measure her food for entire day, and then I do my work, my work as my job, if that makes sense. And around 10:30, the lady arrives who trains me, and we make a plan for the day, and we usually start the day with the task. So we either go out for a training walk in the harness, me and Wilma and the trainer, or we do some other training tasks. Then we come back around the lunchtime. We cover some theory at my home. So the lady is telling me about theoretical parts of the training. And then we do another task related to the training, or we go for... So I'm just saying another task. I will give examples of these tasks later on. So some of these tasks can be done at home, or we go for another walk in the harness. And then we finish about 3 or 3:30 or 2:30, depending. And then I continue working for my job. And then we have evening to ourselves. And this is like a typical plan. And I will go through the days. So on Monday, when the lady arrived, we learned 2 tasks. The first one is called chin rest, and this is used for so-called cooperative care. So the whole point behind it is that we don't want the dog to make anything they don't want. So when we need to, for instance, check the ears, whether they have healthy ears, or wipe the sleeps from the eyes, or whether we want to groom them, we want them to stay nice and still, and we want them to be from their own will, if that makes sense. So to achieve that, the first step of that task is to put like a tea towel on my knees and to wait till the dog puts their head on that tea towel on my knees and to feed them to kind of reward their behavior. Then when the dog takes the head away, I stop paying attention, I remove my hands. And then when they come back and they put their head back on the towel, I feed them again. And then I start like feeling their face, their ears, down their back. And when they stay nice and still, I feed them and I praise them. And if they remove themselves, I just don't do anything. And that can be also used by the vet because the dog is starting to pay attention to the tea towel. And that also can be done for grooming. So I can put the tea towel on the, let's say, some stool or bench, and she will rest her chin there, and I can groom her or check her for ticks or whatever needs to be done. And then another task we were learning was the task called place, which basically we use for ensuring that our dog stays nicely in place and that she doesn't wander when she's off the lead. So I put that blanket on the floor, I tell her place, and I feed her when she's lying nice and still. Then I walk a couple of steps away, come back, feed her, and I only feed her when she is in a position I want her to be in. And then I call her, tell her to go back. And the whole point is to build the duration and then to build the distance so I can walk further away and she can still stay where I want her to stay, and also to ensure that we increase the level of distractions, and no matter what distractions, we hope that she will stay in place. So that was the first day task. And then we covered some theory about around these tasks, and then we went for a walk. And during the walk, at the beginning of the week, I was still, the dog was still clipped to my lead, and there was a harness, of course, on the dogs, which makes it possible to work with the dog. And then we were also clipped to the training lead, so the trainer had a lead to ensure that we're both safe, to give Wilma confidence, because at the beginning of the week, she was still kind of clearly paying more attention to the trainer rather than to me. And then we walked to the local cafe. We always walk to very specific destination because for the dog it has to be real, and she needs to see the purpose in her work. And in the cafe we ordered drink and food, again for training purposes, also for pleasure naturally. And when we were eating and drinking, the trainer was helping me to learn to keep Wilma under the control and to keep her nice and still, and to help her not to be distracted by other dogs, by people, by food on the floor. So I was praising Wilma when she was lying still, and we were kind of ignoring her when she was doing something that we didn't want her to do, but we were also keeping her on so-called fixed lead, so she didn't have much opportunity to be distracted, to kind of wander off, of course, or to grab some food or whatever. And then we came back also in a harness, so practicing left, right, finding curbs, and basic tasks. And that was the first day. During Tuesday, we continued practicing chin rest and place. And in the afternoon, we went to local co-op, and as it happened, they are renovating the road the road by my house. So it brought a lot of natural obstacles. And I want to share here very interesting observation. So basically, during the initial weeks of the training, it is very important that we build confidence in one another and that we don't make mistakes. So we kind of want to build this pattern for the future. And the problem starts when I, for whatever reason, get anxious and I slow down And for instance, in this circumstance, there was like a massive drill in the road, which was very loud, so I couldn't hear anything. And I wasn't sure how far is it from me. So I started to slow down because I was thinking like, oh God, what is going on? And then the dog is getting slightly anxious and she's thinking, oh, why is Maggie slowing down? What is going on? And then when she slows down, because I slow down, yes, then I think, oh, there must be something in the way. So, I get even more tense. So she's getting even more tense. So the trainer helps to break this vicious cycle. And she's like reassuring me, and she says, just go with her, it's fine. Of course, when it is fine, right? And then we avoid getting stuck in that loop of anxiety, let's say. I'm using very CBT terms because of my job. Anyway, so it is important that we have that instructions to not to develop bad habits and to not to lose confidence in one another. And when we go to supermarket, we also make this purposeful. And in the supermarket, the instructor was helping me to keep Wilma by me so she doesn't sniff along the shelves, to praise her for doing this, and to like put her on a short fixed lead when she's sniffing so she doesn't. And so this is a task in itself. And then to ignore people who may be like stroking her or talking to her, and to help Wilma to remain focused on me. And then we, on the walk back, we repeated the same. And on Tuesday, we spent a whole day on one long walk. And we were walking along the promenade, which is the main route for me, from where I live to town, to my work, and to most of the shops. And that day we were practicing speed. So I was learning how to slow down our walk and how to speed up. And also because on the promenade there is many distractions like seagulls, pigeons, bicycles, children playing on the beach, people walking there, dogs on the beach, and food, lots of food, unfortunately. And we have to remember that it is a seaside town. So, for instance, there was an instance when the seagull dropped a bone in front of Wilma's head, right? So also birds are carrying their food, right? So, this is just kind of an environment that we have to work in and that we enjoy, but we just have to make sure that we are safe. And also on that walk, we sat in a cafe to ensure that Wilma can behave in these social circumstances as well. And that was a pretty long walk. So that took majority of our part, and we did some theory. And then on Wednesday, I think we're on Wednesday or Thursday. Sorry if I'm getting confused. I think we're on Thursday. So on Thursday, we did a practice walk to the co-op again. And again, there was drilling, there was lots of scaffolding, and there was lots of rubbish on the floor. And the important thing to mention is that at the moment, I don't know Wilma's body language yet. So sometimes when she stops, I'm not sure whether she's stopping to sniff something, or is there an obstacle, or is there a narrow gap. So also the trainer is giving me verbal feedback. So I learn to read Wilma's body language. And she's also ensuring that at this stage we don't make unnecessary mistakes, so we don't develop bad habits. And then we also walked a different way from the shop around the kind of seafront, but not on a promenade. So like on the seafront, but on the pavement, to teach Wilma that not always there will be the same pattern and that she needs to be flexible. And on Thursday afternoon, we also took Wilma for a free run so I can practice recalling her, and she learns to come back to me. And then also the trainer took me to the pet shop to show me which treats are healthy and safe for the dog, which toys are safe for the dog. And we were practicing that. And then we practiced some theory. And then on Friday, we continued practicing this chin rest and place. And again, we went along the promenade, but this time we went to the town center and we were practicing crossing the roads there. And some of them are funny angles. So I have to improve my understanding of them, and I have to practicing. We got to practicing big roads, like busy roads. And also I need to say, but at this point, I think by Wednesday, pretty much we were off the support lead. So I had Wilma on my harness and on my lead. But the trainer this week is still staying very close by. And sometimes she's encouraging Wilma by her voice. And sometimes kind of grabbing, well, not grabbing, taking the collar and giving her cues. So Wilma knows what to do, because at this moment, Wilma doesn't have enough bond with me to overrule what I say. So if I say something wrong, she will try to do it. But in the future, she will be able to correct my wrong thinking and to overtake and to say, no, we are going this way. This is safe way. And so I don't know whether this makes sense, what I just said. But basically, Wilma, sometimes when she's confused, she basically doesn't know what to do. So the cues from the trainer are very important, and the trainer always stays very close by. And over the weekend we will practice. We don't have classes. I will be taking Wilma for a walk, for a wee, and I will be grooming her, and I will be practicing place and chin rest and other obedience tasks. Or also we were practicing some obedience like sit down, and also so-called lead cues. So sometimes Wilma needs to come behind me, or she needs to come slightly to the right or to the left. So we were practicing them, and if we find somebody who is happy to go with us for a free run, we're also allowed to go for a free run. I don't know whether it's visible. I have a treat bag here in my waist, and this is because Wilma relies heavily on rewards, on food. So I always have a treat bag on me, even at home. And I think that the training is going well, and also I think the trainer is also very happy, and I enjoy it thoroughly. The only thing I have to say is that it is very, very tiring. So at the end of the day, I feel like I can't process anything else, and like I just have to rest. And sometimes I struggle to focus during the end of the day. And this is like nervous system is crashing down. It is very, very tiring. And I still have to pay a lot of attention to the detail, but I have to say that the basic tasks are getting sort of automatized in me, so they cost me less energy. And also for those people who can follow Instagram, I think that these videos are nicely complemented by Instagram photos, and I give a short description of what we do every day. So I will put the link to the Instagram down in the description box. And also, if you haven't watched the previous video, please do, because that may be helpful to understand our journey. And please cross your fingers for us, and forgive us again if there is bad framing, but I am framing myself, being totally blind. And please cross your fingers for us, and next week we will give you another update. Thank you very much. Bye bye.